So I remember my dad, about 4 or 5 months ago, he turned to me and he said, "Ash, you're not still a vegan, are you?" Woo. It's a beautiful day. Heading up Ali Pali, and we're going to wrap up what happened in Yorkshire. I went to Yorkshire with 3 missions, and we're going to find out how it all went as soon as I get up this hill. So recently returned from my trip to Yorkshire. I went up there with 3 big goals. The first of these big goals, the first big goal, was what I was talking about in the other video that I made before I went to Yorkshire, for me to do a time trial up Crag Vale. Crag Vale is a big ass mountain basically. It's 5.8 miles long, 922 feet elevation gain with a 4% average all the way up. Now 4% isn't very steep as climbs go, especially in Yorkshire, but it's a long climb. And at 4%, it's a perfect gradient for you to sustain a certain amount of power. So it's just perfect for pushing yourself. You know, it's not a technical climb where there's lots of flats and lots of steep parts. It's pretty much 4% all the way up. So you can sustain a certain amount of power, which is great, and you can just push yourself. You can never let off the pedals. So 4 months ago, I pushed a power of 309 watts up Crag Vale, which at the time was my FTP 309 watts. This time I had the target of 330 watts, which was a pretty ambitious target. Look at that sky. So, that felt a hell of a lot quicker than 6 months ago. There was definitely a headwind coming up just then. I definitely put a lot more power through the pedals 6 months on, and I don't know if I'm putting more power through the pedals and that's because there's a headwind, so I'm having to push harder, but it definitely felt quicker this like 6 months later. As I was coming up, I was thinking, right, so here comes that really steep section now. Okay, oh right, okay, maybe it's the next corner, so I come around the next corner. Maybe this is the steep bit. Oh no, come around the next corner. Maybe the steep bit's coming next, all the way to the top. And so I realised 6 months ago, I perceived things that I perceived as being steep 6 months ago, I now don't even think of as being anything challenging. It felt so fast all the way up. Like there wasn't my fitness has obviously come up to the next level where the hills that felt steep 6 months ago no longer do, which is fucking awesome. I mean, I'm totally fried. I'm totally fried. Yeah, it was a battle. It was a battle of mind and body. Fuck, I'm so pleased I did it though. I can't wait to see what time I got. I'm hoping. I mean, it feels easy. Oh man, I can't wait to see what time I've got. This time I smashed my FTP and I pushed 334 watts for 22 minutes. That is a big increase on my FTP of 25 watts, which, yeah, in 4 months is massive, and I couldn't ask for more, to be honest. Goal 1 achieved. Goal number 2. Goal number 2. I've got a diagram here of goal number 2. So this is Chul Lane. It's basically a 12% and 12% plus climb all the way up. And last time I totally overcooked myself as I was going up it. So last time 4 months ago I hit Chul Lane like as fast as I could, and I got halfway up and just totally cooked myself. And it's the only hill that the only climb that has ever got the better of me. So 4 months on, returning to Chul Lane, there was no fucking way I was going to let it beat me this time. Last time I think I had an 1128 cassette on the back of my bike, and this time I had 1132, but I wasn't even going to need it, because this time I was gonna pace it right. It was all about pacing. beat you. I beat you this time. I did dual lane in one go. Fuck you. So 2 of the 3 goals achieved, couldn't have been happier, but the 3rd goal was going to be the biggest, and it was going to be the one that was actually going to get me home. The 3rd goal was to cycle from Hebden Bridge, where I was staying in Yorkshire, all the way down to London, which was going to be a 260 plus mile bike ride. I was going to do it all in one day, and it was nothing. It was like I'd never done anything like this before. All my friends and family that I told thought I was insane, and I think at the time I wouldn't have blamed them. But I had faith in my fitness and my gearing. So yeah, once I've sown these seeds in my mind, like, these ideas don't die easy. Yeah, faith in my fitness plus gearing equals riding 260 plus miles across England. The morning of the ride came. I woke up at like 3 o'clock. I was ready by about... It is 4 o'clock in the morning. We have a destination. I have sugar, I have water, and I have my fitness. Let's go and have an adventure. Like, my heart sunk when I felt the rain. In fact, when I saw like there was like mist on the window, so I couldn't really see outside. But as soon as I stepped outside and I was all in my kit, it was like do or die then, fight or flight. And then I felt the rain and my heart just sunk. It started off quite like a mist, like a sort of misty rain, and I thought, oh, maybe it'll pass. But I cycled from Hebden Bridge to Manchester, and and by the time I got into Manchester, it just started pissing it down, and I was absolutely soaked. And around Stockport, I was like, I just wanted to stop. I wanted to go. I just thought, okay, I'll go to Manchester City Station and get a train back, because this is just insane. This is actually insane. Like, I'm going to cycle the next 200 miles in wet shoes and completely soaked clothes, and like that wasn't going to be, like, that's not healthy, to be honest. Soggy shoes, soggy clothes does not make for a happy 200 plus mile ride. So at the moment I'm feeling a bit down, feeling like I'm not going to make it. Just having wet feet just kills it for you. Yeah, just the wet feet have become more and more painful. I need to think positive. Well, I'm over halfway. That's one positive. The Beyond bar, that's another positive. I kept on going, and I think I arrived in Bakewell, and the sun broke through the clouds, and I've never been so happy to see sun. I took off my shoes, took off my socks, I found a bench that was in some direct sunlight, and just put my socks on the bench and my shoes out in the sun, and just tried to dry off everything I possibly could. But yeah, I mean, it made a little bit of difference, but still, cycling 200 miles in soggy shoes and wet clothes, like, I was ready to quit then around Manchester, which was only like maybe 50 miles in. Like, I felt like such a failure then, like, even having that doubt in my mind. It was just, yeah, that was probably the lowest point in the trip. I think that was the most challenging part of it, really, was the fact that if it hadn't have rained for the first 50 miles, then the entire trip would have been way easier. Having to cycle in soggy shoes for any amount of miles, any amount of distance is a pain. But when it's the longest ride of your life and you're just like squelching on every pedal, and your pedals are squeaking, and fuck, it was a mental and physical test like I couldn't have imagined. I have a feeling now, a good feeling, that the rest of this ride is going to be fun.
A few inches later.
I was saying I'm going to enjoy the ride. Chain brake. Fuck. So I've got a chain breaker tool. See what we can do. I tried with the tool and it didn't work. What's your name? Dave. So Dave has just saved my bacon, my vegan bacon.
So
yeah. So I'm gonna be able to actually cycle to Peak Cycles now and get my chain. You could probably get a new chain. So wicked. Thank you so much, Dave. Amazing. Keeping the wattage somewhere around 200 watts. Endurance watts. Just sitting back. Here's a view for you. And enjoying the landscape. I blended up a concentrated beetroot shot and date smoothie, and it is rocket fuel. It is so fucking sweet. Oh my god, it is just what I need right now. If that doesn't keep me going, nothing will. I'm sure I have red all over my face right now. Let's keep going. Just like with anything else in life, push through and you'll see the results you desire. I'm almost broken. Oh, but not enough just to walk up the stairs and get some sweet, sweet banana in my mouth. That's not a euphemism. So why did I do this trip? Why did I cycle all the way back from Hebden Bridge to London? I mean, nobody was telling me to do it. Nobody was asking me, Ash, can you please cycle back instead of getting the train? So the reason I did it was, like I said in my other video, that if in life you're not pushing yourself in all areas, then, you know, I feel like you start to become an amorphous blob, you know? I like to push myself because it makes me feel like I'm alive, you know? I like pushing the edges of what I think is possible and what my friends and family think is possible. You know, I would like, one of the big reasons I did it is because I wanted to sow a seed in my friends and family's heads that being a vegan is something to aspire to, you know. So I remember my dad about 4 or 5 months ago. I saw him and we went for a cycle, and I remember at the end of the cycle we were at the cafe, and he turned to me and he said, "Ash, you're not still a vegan, are you?" And I think it was at that point that I knew I had to prove to him that being vegan was no disadvantage. And yeah, so this was going to be it, you know. And this is the thing. I think that's the thought that all my friends and family had. That, you know, being a vegan makes you weak, and, you know, it restricts you in life, being a vegan. But like doing this trip, I wanted to, like, the reaction I got from my friends and family when I told them about doing it, you could just tell that it was kind of disbelief. It was the first time I'd ever really seen disbelief in my friends and family that I was going to do this, like as if I was actually insane. And yeah, maybe being vegan, you do become a little bit insane. Wanted to prove these big things to people, but, like, you know, yeah, I wanted to prove to them and to myself. And yeah, I was proud of myself that I did it. Like, I did the biggest ride of my life being a vegan, and I don't think I could have done it without being a vegan. And I think my friends and family also knew that, you know, eating the diet that I eat allows me to live, you know, to live like I live, to be able to do these rides, to achieve these goals, to push myself. Yeah, those were the 3 big goals, and I achieved them all. And, you know, all I can say is, what is next?